Okay.
All right, 1 2 1 2. I think we live now. Anitra, you can go ahead and go to Facebook and whatnot and tell your people all about it. What's up, everybody? This is Sante at WYAC, Pontiac WYAC. We have filmmaker Anitria Cole from Humble Folks Films, and we have Miss Pamela Alexander. And we got, we just really, I want to go ahead and really just celebrate, this is the end of Women's Pride Month. So we got to have some two spectacular diamonds with us tonight. You know what I mean? And I just really want to highlight these ladies and highlight what they got going on and what they're doing. But I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to the lady on my left, but she's on your right. You know what I mean? So, Miss Anitria Riddle, I'm about to call you Riddle. My bad. I had a meeting with a lady named Riddle today. Anitria Cole, please tell the
Uh-huh.
people what's going on and who you are and what you do.
Hello, everybody. My name is Anitria Cole, and I'm a playwright, a cinematographer, and I also shoot film and write screenplays. And I'm currently working on a project now called Street Numbers and Weston and Bagley, and really excited about it. A lot of people from Detroit and Pontiac are involved. So I'm excited to have a community of people, all of us together, working together.
That's what's up. Hey, she's a very, very, I've been knowing Anitra for a while now. I ain't gonna say, some people get on here and lie and be like, I know their whole life, but I ain't know her my whole life. But I know her a nice little while and she's super talented at what she does. I do have a clip of what she has going on, and I will be playing that soon. But Miss Alexander, would you please go ahead and let the people know who you are and what you got going on, and tell them about yourself?
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Pamela Alexander. I am the CEO and founder of Essential Hot Yoga Detroit, as well as Starfish Enterprise, as well as a new spot in the city of Pontiac, up and coming, called The Legacy. And it is one of the staples in our community. Everyone knows it as Cyril Hall's office, but originally this is Dr. Riggs' building, and I am the proud owner of the building now, and just really excited about what Pontiac is getting ready to experience with these bossy women that are posseing up today.
Well, first thing first, I mean that's an exciting and some great, great, great news. What you got going on? How did this come together, Miss
Mm.
Alexander and Miss Cole? Well, how did this happen, and what's going on with you two? I mean, what y'all got? What y'all stewing up here? What's going on?
Well, Anitra, can I just jump in real quick?
Oh yeah, you can. And look, I'm gonna tell you, I ain't real techie. I still don't know how to share this shot, Asante.
Okay, go to my hey go to my Facebook page and
Uh huh.
just you'll see it playing and then just hit the share button right up under it.
I don't see it playing. I see other stuff of your
No,
on your page.
refresh it.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Miss Alexander.
So while she's working on that, I'm going to just share the National
oh,
Women's History Month theme. Now, Women's History Month, Asante, just a little backstory. My yoga studio, I am a yoga instructor, yoga therapist, health educator, right? And I started celebrating Women's History Month back in 2014 at my yoga studio in Detroit. And each year there is a national theme, right? Coincidentally, ironically, this year, you listening, Anitra,
I'm
the
listening.
theme is called Moving Forward Together. Women educating and inspiring generations. So, how likely would it be that I am now in Pontiac and another Bossy Posse member, Sister Rukia, aka Vicky Brent, hosted her annual event. Was that in March? No, it wasn't in March. Was
It's
it
in
in?
February, Black
In
History Month.
February. In February. It was a cold day in February, Asante. And I said, you know what? I have to support Sister Rukia, not knowing that when I got there, well, no, I take that back. I saw the headliner of the movie, the name of the movie, Street Numbers, Wesson and Bagley. And it really piqued my interest. I said, oh, we're going. We're going. We're going to go and support some other women owned businesses, but I want to see this film. And Asante, when I tell you, I have known the Cole family my whole life. I'm a Pontiac native. I was actually raised in Pontiac. I was born in Detroit, but I have been in Pontiac all of my life. So our families are very close, ties with one another. However, Anitria, for some reason, I did not know her, right? But when I saw her work, Asante. When I saw her work, what came to mind, I said, oh my God, do Pontiac know that they have the Shonda Rhimes right here? And I just got really inquisitive. And of course, the characters in the movie were people that I knew. And it was like, wait a minute. And I'm turning around, I'm looking, and they're in the audience, right? And I said, when and how? So the rest is history. I shared with Sister Rukia at that time, I said, we have to pull this together. We have to put this um, on the map. We have to be committed to each other as women. When we have excellence, we have to not only support, but we got to pull. We have to pull and we have to push. And Anitria's product, what she has going on is more than worthy of the support that she has to have behind it. And when I was told it was self-funded, I said, "Oh, we one in the same." Okay, she a real
Uh,
boss. That's what real bosses do. They don't wait. They
Right.
just
You
keep
you fund you
pushing.
find ways to find it to make
Thank
it
you.
work yourself.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, cash your bottles if you have to. You're doing it.
Hey, we in
Uh-huh.
the right
Uh-huh.
room. So the rest is history. This is just what has to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. I mean, you know what? And I talked to Nitria, when we get a chance to talk, and I tell Nitria, I say, yo, you outstanding to me. In order to do the type of work that she's doing, it's like a time period piece is really, I think, is one of the hardest things to ever do. And the way that she pulls it off with such grace and a style and a look, and I always tell her it's the look, but be able to come together with the storyline, the style, the clothes, the clothing, the atmosphere. It's like, I don't know. It's like you got into the Back to the Future time machine and went back. It's like, I don't know what she did, but she is outstanding with what she does, and I'm super happy that that you guys linked up together. And Nitra, what say you? I
Hmm.
mean, elaborating off of what Miss Alexander was talking about.
Well, I really, it's just, I so appreciate what she's saying, because how I am. I'm so low key. I'm real low key, and I won't. I'm just not no limelight type of person, and I'm not a. I need somebody. I'm not saying I'm a go getter, but it's just like, as far as marketing, promoting, and advertising, I ain't so good with that. But I don't know. It's just I love history. I love African American history, and I was really into that story about Black Bottom Detroit, and I'm still into that story about Black Bottom Detroit and our history. But then I listened to stories up here in Pontiac, and people was telling us about, the number men that ran numbers up here, and talked about the, various going on Weston and Bagley. So basically, Weston and Bagley and Pontiac, that was like our Black Bottom, because when
Absolutely.
Black people migrated from the South, a lot of Black people came from the South because they was trying to get a job in the plant, because the factory, it was in that during that time, the factory, that was how Black people became the middle class, really. So
Absolutely.
some black people moved up here from Detroit. I mean, moved up here from the South and moved to Detroit to work for Ford or whatever. And my family moved to Pontiac to work for General Motors. So I had,
That's
We
like
used to call it
all of our
generous
families like that.
motors.
yeah, General Motors. Right, right,
Generous
right.
Motors,
Generous
right? Yeah.
motors.
Yeah. So I'm listening to the stories of people in Detroit. I'm listening to stories of people in Pontiac, and I'm like, this is a good story. Let me make something out of this. You know what I mean? It's not the story ain't factual, quote unquote, but I have some historical facts in it because I didn't want to make it about nobody's life because to me that would put me in a box. And I couldn't be creative with it because it's like you telling somebody else's story, but I'm not telling somebody else's story. I'm telling our history, but I'm putting my own creative spin on it.
Well, one of our greats popped in, Mr. Sykes. I ain't gonna call him by his first
Absolutely.
name, but what he say? He said, "Those of us who have worked with Anitria, no, yeah, he's in your pieces. I see him. She's a joy
Uh-huh.
to work with, and she's a beast in the production, brother Cliff. And
Thank you.
I can't echo him enough. You know what I mean? And I mean, we truly have a true gem, and I really feel like what you're doing is beyond exceptional. You know, it's perfect.
Yes.
It's really perfect. I love what you do. I love what you're working with. I love how, like Miss Alexander said, you know, being self-funded and being able to, you know, to be able to put a lot of your
Yeah.
own energies and monies and time into without extra outside funding and sources to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary. That's
Yeah.
extraordinary. So we have Brother Martell in here. He said, "Keep up the good work, Anitra."
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
That's
you.
another one of our, you know, producers that we're gonna have him in one day soon. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yep. But
Yeah.
that's
Well, the other part of the story, Asante, is I actually lived the street numbers uh, at Weston and Bagley. So I mean, it was
uh-huh,
like I can't believe it. And brother Cliff over there in the movie, Mr. Sykes and I are very close. Okay,
uh-huh,
just
uh-huh.
the neighborhood community, and I think that this is an exceptional time,
yeah,
resurgence. Of time in the city of Pontiac, and particularly Pontiac Proud, because that's the Pontiac that I grew up in. The
Mhm,
Pontiac that, you know, in her storyline where she's talking about how the numbers supported the community. See, it wasn't a bad thing.
right.
People bought their houses, people were able to get their cars, folk went to college, you name it. So
mhm,
it is a prideful aspect of the
mhm,
African American story in the city of Pontiac. And when
mhm,
I say created exceptionally,
mhm.
it's an understatement.
Mm.
And I'm not even a beggar. I mean, I can't beg for my own project, but this I was like, I said, girl, I beg for this. I will look. I want to be able to. When you get to the big house and my name on the list, I can just walk in. They
Right.
better
But
not be
it's funny
worried
that you said,
about me.
but it's funny that you said that every neighborhood had every neighborhood had their number guy.
Mhm.
I know on my
Absolutely.
street, we knew who the number guy was, you know, and it was crazy because I remember seeing my grandma with these little slips by the door. It's like I didn't know what they was, but I'm like 4 or 5 years old. They little slips like this.
Uh-huh,
I'm like,
uh-huh.
just numbers on them. I'm like, what's she doing? You know what I mean? But the number man was 2 doors down. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you embodied that. Before we go any further, I would like to go ahead and try to play a clip here of
Yes.
what she has going on. You know, let me try to situate this. There we go. So let's without further ado, people, we're gonna go ahead and play a quick clip
Well,
of what's you know, Miss Anitra has going on here.
yes.
When I'ma have my own numbers to run. Disrespectful. Man, I'm not. Be cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. This is a family meeting, but since it's a family meeting, I want to put it all on the table.
A fool and his money is soon departed.
So you calling me a fool, Uncle Al? You just verified.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, that's that yeah, that's that. Hey, I had to give that a round of applause there going on. You know what I'm
All
saying? That was
right.
hey, intense. That look
Yeah,
hey, that small little portion, that clip, people that's watching that, y'all better go check it out. You know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
that was suspenseful and scary at the same. But
Straight with no chaser.
but when you can capture, uh, in order to capture somebody in a small amount of time in that scene was nothing but 45 seconds pretty much, and you able to catch an attention, that's hard to do. To be able to catch somebody's attention in a scene in 45 seconds, and you wondering like, and the way that your actors were able to capture what you wanted them to do. Can we talk about that real quickly? You know, how you was able to, convey to them like, yo, this is what I know T Stanley. I know, how did you, he wasn't a trained actor, but how did you go ahead and put this together to make him feel like this is what I want you in this scene? This is what I need.
Well, giving your cast the backstory of the characters, knowing who their characters are and what each character's goal is in the scene. If everybody know what their goal is in the scene, when you put it all together, it's going to come off where the audience can see what that goal is. And so
Mm.
when I direct, I let them know what I want, but they also have to do their own study of, I made them, go look up what the numbers game. What was involved in the numbers business? Family dynamics. They do their own research and use the research and use the character background, and then when we come together, I tell you exactly how I want it, and they know what their goal is in the scene, and you when you put it all together, it explodes and it come off just the way that you want it, and that's the way they did it. And like my cousin Kayla, that's in there too. Kayla and T, they're not experienced actors, and neither was Don. Don, they wasn't experienced actors, but and Mr. Nelson and Yolanda, they had more experience, but when it's a cohesive group and everybody that's a part of the production, when we all want the same thing, you feel it and you see it and it come across on the screen.
Yeah, it does, and it did, and it continued to. Like I said, you continue to amaze me with what you're doing and producing, and and it's funny, Pamela. Maybe around 7 years ago, when I start kind of like messing around doing live streams and doing things like that, Anitria and my cousin actually came down here, and
Mhm.
y'all did, so just to see the growth from several years ago, just to see to now is an amazing thing. So, Pam, so you were
Yes.
talking about the hot yoga and the true legacy, right?
The legacy building.
The
That's the
legacy
name of the
building.
building is the legacy.
Hmm.
So could you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more? Could you tell us a little bit more about that and what that's going to be bringing to the table around here in these parts?
Absolutely. So, the legacy is a space, it is a wellness space where we are scaling wellness in all dimensions of wellness. So, whether it's finances, health, beauty, culture, and it's in our community. Obviously, it's in the historic district of Pontiac on Franklin Boulevard and Orchard Lake, centrally located. And it is a building that, there is a scripture in the Bible that talks about being in a space that you did not build. And when I tell you, when I came upon this building, Dr. Riggs delivered over half of Pontiac. But prior to that, even learning that that was the parsonage for my church, Newman AME Church. So it was just rich with history, and hence the name, the legacy was born. I have been laboring in that project for 2.5 years, and like Anitria, I've bootstrapped it. I just haven't had the opportunity to just stop and wait and, beg and plead and, that type of thing. So it is something that it is a living project. So the legacy is about our legacy here in Pontiac. It is not my personal legacy, not my children's legacy, but the legacy of excellence here in Pontiac. Dr. Riggs was, when I tell you he was top shelf, I even found out that I was born in the same hospital as one of his children in the city of Detroit. This thing is real deep with us as African people residing here in the United States of America. We were thought of before we were even brought here, and our place here was already predestined and preordained. So the legacy is going to be a place where community will gather. We're going to roll out our first Boom Boom Room production with Humble Folk Production. And we're excited about it because once you come to the space, you'll see it is very, very peaceful. And it is a space that invokes love and calmness, but it's actually beautiful. The original renderings are still intact. And thanks to Attorney Hall, who he himself is a legend here in Pontiac, who don't know him. And for it to be resurrected and for God to entrust it with me is a mighty, mighty charge and a blessing. But it is for such a time and such a day as this. So no longer do we say we don't have no place that's really nice, that is what's called elevated, because it's an elevated space.
And
Um,
that's what I was going to ask. So
yeah,
this space will be able to be used for like rentals. People can rent.
rentals. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah,
weddings and
the
all that type
main
of
level.
the
Well,
main.
not weddings, so it'll be smaller scale, more intimate events. So such as this, on the 26th, we are having the VIP showing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that with 25 people, right? So it's an intimate space, but the way that it is curated, there's so many opportunities to just have a real nice set. You could have a jazz set there. You could have a shower there. You can have a boys' night there. It's a real nice spot.
Just in time
And
for the spring. Well, when we just in time for the
absolutely,
hey, yeah, we okay. I might have
absolutely,
somewhere to hang out now because I don't do much.
absolutely.
I sit in the house and
Look,
work and that's it.
circular drive in the front. So
But
there's a lot that'll be happening, and that's the main level. But we are leasing spaces. So if you know of individuals that are looking for an elevated space, that are looking to be a part of a community, because it's not going to be, this single unit. We're going to work together
that sounds
to make
exciting.
sure that everyone is going to succeed. No, nobody's left behind. So it's not going to be for everybody. I can
Hmm.
just be honest with you on that. If you're a singular minded type person, it probably won't work well for you, because I have curated it so that we can support each
Community, each
other.
other. Yeah.
And the lower level is going to be built out as the hot yoga studio.
Mm.
So I'm putting that out there in the streets. Pontiac does not have. I am a certified Bikram yoga instructor and trained by Bikram himself, and I am a fanatic about it. It is what got
Wow.
me to retire After 30 years of corporate, I retired to be a yoga teacher and live on the streets almost of California and have
Mm.
a real humble folk experience.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And
Mhm.
like I said, Pontiac is this is a ripe time in Pontiac for a lot
Mhm.
of elevated things for people as a whole. So,
Wow,
Mhm.
that's fantastic. This is a rotating question I'm gonna ask Anitra, and then I'm gonna go to
dude,
you, Miss Pam.
Mhm.
Why is that? Why is the project that you're doing, Anitra, why is it so important to you to be doing this? Why is it so important for you to tell a story as um, the one that you're telling? There's so many different stories that you could be
Yeah,
saying. Why is it important to you?
it is important to me because it's our history,
amen.
and 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 it was more. It's not just about playing numbers. It's the culture and community and the closeness that we had at one time, and
Absolutely. Say that.
and the number man wasn't just like quote unquote this gangster. He
Hmm.
was somebody in the community that really looked out for his people. If kids needed to go to school, they needed to go to college. People needed to pay for the funerals. They ain't had the money. If they wanted to start a business, the banks wasn't giving them no money. Not at that time. Black folks. I mean, even now it's hard for black people to get loans. And you see
Straight.
what they doing nowadays. They taking everything away with DEI and everything. They taking everything away. So we had our own bank in our community with the
Straight.
number man. And I just want to tell the story of, it ain't just about numbers, but it's about the community and how we was together at one time. We was a village. We looked out for each other at one time. And so I don't want our stories to die. You see, they taking our history out of schools. They taking it off the internet.
Right.
And so when they take it away, it's nothing there, or they gonna put their own spin on it. So it's up to us to tell our stories, to keep our own stories alive, keep our own stories going. So that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and that's a good why. That's a good reason to be passionate. How about you, Pam? Why is you so adamant and
I
hear
want
about
people
what you're doing?
I want people here to see what elevation once again looks like. I have been abroad for a long time, and COVID is what brought me back. And hence, when Anitra mentioned about what the numbers mans used to, do in terms of how
Mhm.
they helped, one of the properties that I own, I would not have it if it was not for the numbers lady that was my mama's best friend on my street. We wouldn't have had it if Miss Icy, that's her name, Miss Icy, had not told my grandmother and put the, part of the money up. You understand? So it's personal for me.
Mhm.
It's straight up personal. I
Mhm.
am I'm of an age at this time where thank God I am moving into my give stage
Mhm.
where I could give it away. And I'm not
Mhm.
talking about necessarily finances, but I'm talking about what's up here, what I've learned, how I've been curated and protected and cared and put up, you know. And
Mhm.
Pontiac, I find coming back here, some of the things were very disheartening for me, and particularly around the work with women. You know, we weren't trained that way. We weren't even allowed to call it raise because we were taught that you raise animals, you train children.
Mhm.
So there is a level of excellence that still resides here that has to be visible. It has to be visible. It has to be demonstrated. People have to see it and to trust it once again. You
Mhm.
understand? Not that
Right.
it's a bad place because it's home. I never walked away from Pontiac. But I really do wholeheartedly believe that our people need to work and see and move in excellence. We don't have to move,
Mhm.
you know, as they say, we don't even have enough to call ourselves against each other.
Right. How about
Mhm.
that?
We really don't. And it's going
Mhm.
to take all of us. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
take all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, what would you
And
like?
this isn't a us against them. That's the last
Absolutely.
thing I have to say. This isn't about us against them.
Mhm.
This is
Mhm.
about reclamation of who we are and being proud and moving in who we are.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
all.
I mean, with both of you in your respective interest, how could you feel like the city of Pontiac can best support either one of you?
You want to go,
Anitra, I'll
Kim?
let you go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just best support me. It's just when I do, when I get ready to do a premiere, come support it. That come support it. And although this isn't just for me, but I wish Pontiac would get a community center with a theater in it. Some seats in the stage, and so that we can put on shows like this for our people. You know what I mean? So that our kids can have some culture. Train our kids. I want to be able to train our kids to. I will help them learn how to write a script. Have some place where we can go to do this, so we can train our kids up in the art, so that they can see themselves on the stage. You know what I mean? See themselves writing something. But we ain't got nowhere. We don't have nowhere to even to commune to do things like that. So if I hear them talking about a community center, I wish y'all do one. Get one. Get it together.
Hey, you right about that. Hey, we'll see what they gonna do. But no, you right about that. We need because arts is one of the things that have been taken away from the schools. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Absolutely.
So it's
Mhm.
like we need that type of situation where it is supported, a person like you is supported, or there's dollars for a person like you. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Because it I don't care what nobody say. Hey, look, everything costs.
Yeah.
Ideas cost money. You know what I mean? You just can't
Yeah.
you just can't do stuff just because you want to. You got to have some type of some fuel in the tank to go ahead and make that get off
That's,
the ground. Miss Pam.
that's So low hanging fruit for Nitra's project, I feel like the Strand Theater, the Flag Star Theater, as a start, as a start. We shouldn't even be talking about how much it would cost for it to be there. As a start, being able to have a production there. One. Two, being able to utilize the resources that we have right now. We have buildings that are empty, short of a community center. I was 30 years corporate, so I'm always looking at zero-based budgeting, right? Short
Mhm.
of that happening, we have so many buildings in the city of Pontiac that can be utilized for
Mhm.
an art such as this. If people would just be willing to come to the table and say, hey, it can be utilized, or it can be used for this amount of time. So I'd like to hear more of those conversations to
Mhm.
happen that actualize, not just the conversation,
Yeah.
because I'm not the
Right.
good meeting person. I'm the good
Right.
action person.
Uh-huh.
We can meet, but let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, we have churches. I would love to see the doors of our churches open with our children in our churches again. I know, they said it was COVID, but, to be honest with you, there's been a decline in the Black church for quite some time now. And it's not just one thing. However, Pontiac has enough churches to where we can have these supportive ancillary programs running out of the churches. We're not even talking about the school district, but that's a whole nother show. Invite but I just
You're
use
right.
the
You're right.
church's name as an example, is that
Mhm.
we do have places in which we can drop these things with city block grant funding. Pontiac is on the move,
Yeah.
and the arts is a major
That's a
piece of
major
this
part of Pontiac. Yeah,
development.
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what bring people through the doors.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to have some form of entertainment. You got to have some arts. You know what I
Correct.
mean? First of all, I want to go ahead and say to any and everybody that's watching here, the phone line, the red phone is on. So that's 248-905-1128. 248-905-1128. I'm gonna put it on the screen a little bit bigger for people to see who got bad eyes like me. 248 905 1128. If you would like to give us a call, and you can ask Miss Anitra Cole any question you like pertaining to, her production, her beginnings. You can give Miss Pamela Alexander a call, asking about anything that she's talking about here with the legacy building and what's going on with her. So please call. This is what the show is about, and any support that you want to give or advice. So 248-905-1128. So you say on the 20, so you guys are coming together for a uh, showing, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Tell us
We're
about that.
so we're going to have a private showing on the 26th, and it's an invitation only, and it's actually for the historians of Pontiac. So we had the heavy hitters in the house. Now if you need to be on the list,
Hey,
you
am I
all
on
got
the
to.
list? I know I ain't nobody up in this. I
If
ain't
you need to
nobody.
be
You
on
know
the
what I
list,
mean?
you're
But
gonna have to talk to her people, so her
hey,
people can talk to
I got to
your
talk to the
people.
people. I got to talk to people now. All right. All right, I got to talk to people. All
Don't just
right.
Well,
roll up now.
Asante on the Lizzie, he
I
a
got to
heavy
talk.
hitter.
All
As a matter of
We're
right.
gonna
fact,
be looking
I do.
out the window like, who
You're
is
right.
that?
Hey, yeah,
And,
okay.
and
I got to
Asante,
talk to.
I just want to jump in and say this real quick. He was instrumental too to me with my filming because when I
Uh,
first started,
uh,
Asante was right there with me. He pulled.
I'm
I was like,
too.
Asante, can you give me some drone shots? And he was like, when you need me, Anitra, when you need me.
Right,
So he
right,
been instrumental. Me and him was like learning at the same time.
right. So
So
Yeah.
this the real juice and muscle meat.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody that's in the room, they got some muscle
They
and
got
some
some
juice.
pull. Right. They
They
can
got
mix.
some pull,
Right.
some real hitters, and we're gonna mix in a little. We got a little treat. We're going to mix in some live music, live entertainment. I'm excited because I haven't had company like this type of company at the house. We've done other small projects, but this one I'm excited about because people will be able to see the inside of the space and see how it pairs very well with the excellence of street numbers and Weston.
Hey, it's
So
gonna
that's
be
on the
awesome.
26th. And then there's going to be a follow up, open one for the a community date, right, Anitra? We talked about
mhm,
that.
mhm.
So we'll be announcing that soon, but we wanted to at least not let Women's History Month get out before we talked about this bossy lady over here.
Yeah. Hey, I'm so happy, and I'm hearing about. I'm excited about this legacy building.
Mhm.
Oh,
I'm excited about that. That sounds
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
Give me a
Yeah, I'll
place
be
to hang
begging
out
for
for real.
myself a little bit later. But when you see me out in the parking lot, I don't even eat flesh, but I might be out there flying some chicken wings or whatever.
Oh,
Somebody help me.
right,
It's the perfect spot, okay?
Mhm.
But yes,
man.
yes,
I'm
more
so
to
happy.
come.
I'm glad we did this today, ladies. I just want to say again to Nitra first. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like when we speak,
Yeah,
and a lot of times, me and Nitra we'll build each other up because being a creative, as you know, Pamela, is just sometimes you can get discouraged, or you just need a power
yeah,
button in your back sometime, you know what I mean? Just to keep going and doing what you're doing. And
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm just so happy, and I'm proud of her because she's sticking to what has been
yeah.
placed in her as her gift. Because I
Absolutely.
believe that's a sin when you don't work in your gift. That's a sin right there. So
That's what he said.
yeah. So for her to
Yeah,
continue doing, and she's doing it in
yeah,
such a great way. Super proud of you, Nature. Just keep on. And any little bit that I can do, you let me know.
Mhm.
And,
And
I,
I
and I
and I
can do that.
thank you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate Pam, you and Pam both. I mean, just to have somebody extend a hand out to you. You know what I mean? Because I'm not used to nobody doing nothing for me.
no.
That's just I
But
do
see,
everything by myself.
that's the way we were. That's the way we were trained.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we were rooted in happily being able to help each other. I mean,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
just, what's in it for me, because it always just worked. Everybody did well.
Mhm.
Nobody
But would you
was
know
left
what we
behind.
got? We wind up losing the sense of community and figuring out
Yeah,
that we had to do everything on our own,
Mhm.
and and,
absolutely.
Mhm.
and that's hard. You know what I mean? That's hard
Mhm.
because it didn't
Mhm.
used to be like that.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
Right.
hopefully it looked like we getting back to some type of form of community. You know what I mean?
Right.
well,
Right.
we're gonna be some
Or
trailblazers
tribalism.
on that, Asante. You
Yeah,
watch.
yeah.
We gonna have the Bossy Posse group just bamming, okay?
I
That's
know
gonna
it.
be pumping. The
Hey,
Bossy
now this is my
Posse.
first time really meeting. This is my first time meeting you. You know what I mean? So I can
I
tell
knew.
the fire is in you. I can tell. You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean? The
yeah,
furnace
yeah.
is burning hot.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm telling you, Pontiac ain't ready, but they
Yeah,
may as well get ready
better
because
get ready.
for such a day as this, it's authentic. And Sister Queen Anitra, I just want to openly thank you. I want to thank you for one being receptive because you could have, even though you are a very humble person, you could have said, well, I don't know what the angle is, what the aim is, or you could have made
Mhm.
some calls or whatever, but
Mhm.
you were willing to say, take me at my word. And
Mhm.
we don't know each other like that. Our
Mhm.
families know each other well.
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
so I want to just commend you for, your earnest work and your effort and, your tirelessness of your passion that you continue to just grind on. So you have inspired me, and I need to tell you that just to keep
Oh, well,
keep
thank
pushing.
you. And
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate your generosity. I mean,
yeah,
just being generous like that
yeah,
to even open up and even say you
yeah.
wanted to assist in this way. It's a blessing, and everything is in divine order.
Absolutely, Asante.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
And you in the pack as well because I didn't know
Mhm.
she had an ace in her pocket,
You
and I
know
was
what?
like, "What?"
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, humble folk roll silent. You know what I mean? We real cool. You know what I mean? But we got some resources. But
Absolutely.
but the good
Mhm.
thing about humble folks is we only use our resources when we actually need them. Most people use their resources out and burn
Yeah.
them up. You know what I'm saying? But humble
Mhm.
folks don't. We know when it's time to
Yeah.
pull the card out. You know what I mean? And so I
Yeah.
I, pre- I appreciate Anitra and I appreciate you, Pamela, for reaching out to me. And now I got
Mhm.
I, I got a new contact here, and I can't. I'm
That's
just
right.
and I'm celebrating you too. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
you sound like you just got tremendous great things, and you sound like you're a history book that needs to be tapped into. For a lot of people need to know what's
Uh-huh.
going on. So
Uh-huh.
y'all both welcome on here any and all the time. Any and all the
Well,
Absolutely.
time.
thank you,
Let's make some things
Asante.
happen. Thank you so much, Asante.
Hey, no problem. Yeah, Miss Dorothy Cole. That's mom's, right?
Yeah, that's my mama. Hey,
Say, get
mama.
ready, Pontiac is
Hey!
about to go down. Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna leave you ladies with the last word, and Pamela, I will let you go ahead and go first. Any last words you want to say to the people out there watching?
Always, as you levitate, lift.
Mhm.
Love it, Miss Anitra. Any last words for the folks?
I would say, don't look for resources. Go to the source.
All right. All right.
Amen.
Yeah.
He gonna make sure you have whatever you need.
Amen.
Amen. And I will take that one with me. I like that, and I appreciate you, ladies. Any and everybody, please hit the repeat if you're catching this at the end. Come on back and watch this whole thing again. But thank you, ladies, so much for joining Pontiac
Thank you.
WYAC. You always family here and always welcome.
And
Thank you so
thank you
much.
too. Thank you for
God
having us.
bless.
You got it. All righty,
Uh-huh.
ladies. Bye
All
bye.
Uh-huh.
right. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye bye.